Really? So you've never really checked up on things like that at all?
No, I don't. I don't bother. I mean, people can say, well, you've got a young side, they should be able to run, faster, quicker, cover more ground. But having said that, the side we had years ago would be, with Mitch Cook, Andy Toman, Davy Logan, people like that. They were very, very experienced players. And I always remember one manager saying to us, well, I think you've got the slowest back three in the league with Goodchild, Cook and Pearson. And I said, yeah, that's one of the reasons why you fellas never had a shot all night. Because they might have been the oldest in the league, but they're far too much nous for you.
I was going to say, and also three of the best defenders in the Northern League at that time.
Without a doubt, the best. And you just think, if he's got three 20-year-old kids up front, you'll be thinking, well, they'll run those three, but they would run them all if they got the chance to run them all. But we never give them that chance. Positional play and touch on the ball and awareness killed most teams off.
Much more organised this year, Harry.
Well, I think the thing about it is we don't spend. I mean, what we do on a Tuesday when we train, Andrew, is we get the lads warmed up and we have probably 40 minutes football. It's mostly below knee height, and what that does for me is it makes players get angles on when you're playing football. If you've got overhead height, then they can kick them from back to front. But if it's below head height, people know they've got to make angles. But the other thing we try and do is we try and get them to play in the areas where they're good at. And I think at the minute the system suits us. The lads who are playing within that system are doing well, and basically all you're asking them to do is look, if you're out your area, just make sure somebody fills in for you, or we don't leave big holes around the park, which a lot of teams do. But I'll be perfectly honest with you, I've never been to a coaching session. I've never took a badge. For me, they're a waste of time. What I've always looked for is lads who have got the ability to play at our level, but it's that vital 5 minutes before you go out where you make sure everybody knows what the job is, from set pieces and what the pattern of players and things like that. And you don't have to spend a great deal of time doing it. I like to say to players is, look, I'm trusting you to have a little bit of football knowledge. And if they haven't got it, then they're no good to us.
Okay, Harry, and I'll go on to our second question. Harry, do you believe that this squad is strong enough to maintain a promotion push? And if it did happen, with Harry's knowledge of that league, could the club sustain Conference North status?
Well, I would like to think we can sustain a push for the playoffs. I think a lot of it depends on your luck as regards injuries. I think if we were to pick 3 or 4 injuries up to key players, I think I'll be honest with you, Andrew, I think we would have a struggle. I think the two main things for me to keep it going is, one, stay injury free, which is down obviously opposition players kicking you and what have you. But the other thing as well is the discipline side of things. We had the 2 lads sent off at Stocksbridge. They know it was wrong. Before every game now, we're stressing, make sure. I mean, we had a couple booked the other night where, to be honest, I didn't feel the referee was great in the first half, but I think it's vitally important that lads keep the discipline, and we've got a little bit of leeway now with this business. With you can get up to 10 bookings before you'd actually get suspended. So the FA is doing their stuff in terms of giving players plenty leeway. We've just got to make sure that we keep our discipline, and if fair enough, they might make the missed time tackle, they might get booked. That's part and parcel of it. But when it comes down to dissent and things like that, it's we've got to try our hardest to make sure it doesn't happen. And I think on the other question was, if we can sustain it in the Conference North, with what we've got at the minute, I think we would. I think we would probably do okay. I'm not saying we'd set the world on fire, but I think if we get our strongest 11, 12, 13 out, and I don't think we would. I think we would survive quite comfortably.
Okay, Harry, excellent, good news. And finally, looking ahead to the home game with Ashton on Saturday, any team news for us? Well,
we've got Leon as a doubt. He's a hard lad to get hold of, Leon. You send them texts, and what lads are like in this day and age. They answer them when they feel it's necessary. But we're hoping he's going to be okay. But I've got me doubts. I think he may struggle for Saturday. Ali Kildee is available. I think the only one suspended at the minute's Leon. So at the minute, that'll probably be the 14 players we go with on Saturday.
Okay, Harry. Liam Gildea completing his suspension, his 3-match suspension on Saturday, so you're expected to go with a 14 then? Yeah,
we'll just go with a 14. As I say, we've signed, we've registered Clark from Billingham Town this week, so he's been registered, and I've spoken to Peter Mulcaster at Billingham, and whenever they haven't got midweek games, if we need Clarkie and he can help us out, then we haven't got a problem with that. We've registered Graham Robinson, and Robbo says he'll help us out if we need to be. So we are trying to increase the people that will help us out, and I'm sure we'll need them. But again, we feel we've done all right the last half a dozen games with the lads we've got, and we're going to give them a fair crack of the whip before we actually start looking around after the squad.
Okay, Harry. I mean, I presume you've already started thinking what you're going to do if Leon isn't available. Is there a few options there in your head?
Well, there is. There's obviously there's Alec Gildea. There could possibly be a position where we might even bring Ibby out at the back. What I've got to do is I've got to speak to a couple of managers, as I normally do on a Friday night, and see how Ashton are now as compared to when we played them, which seems a long time ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
That Monday night where I thought we played, I think they'd just gone top of the league that Monday night, and I thought we played well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought we played really, really well. Very pleased, and even more so when we went 2-0 down, and you think, well, we've played ever so well, and we're 2 down, and yet we came back at 2s apiece and could possibly have won it.
I don't think Ashton have won another game since October.
Oh, I don't say that, Andrew. They're obviously due to win one, but no, I mean the thing I like about them is particularly I like the 2 midfield players. I mean, obviously I've got them down in my book and my notes and what have you, so I'll be reading up again on them tomorrow night, like I know I would normally do. But I like their 2 midfield players. I thought they got through very, very well. I think they're a good footballing side.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they did try and I think that's one of the things I've been pleased about this year. I looked at Buxton last week, Andrew, and for all we won 2-0, they did try and play football second half.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they knocked it about, and they didn't actually look as though they were going to score, but they just didn't resort to the big boot down the middle. And the same I felt with the game on Tuesday night at one particular point in the first half when we had a bit of possession, we kept all of it. When they had possession, Guiseley kept all of it. I think the standard's been pretty good this year.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you've watched it more than me. How do you see it this year compared to other years?
I think that's a fair point, Harry. Actually, yeah, it doesn't seem quite so agricultural. I certainly have memories of the Ashton away game. That was, I remember saying at the time that was possibly the best game of football I've seen this season. It was very open, and I was starting to believe, Harry, that we were gonna come away with nothing after playing possibly the best 90 minutes of the whole year.
Yeah, well, I was talking to one particular manager after Tuesday night, and he said, "Oh, you'll be disappointed you got beat." I said, "Well, we are disappointed we got beat." I said, "But look on the other side of the coin. If last Friday we'd said, well, we're going to go away to Buxton, which is a long travel, and then we're going to go to Guiseley, where going for promotion on the good side, and we come away with 2 points and we're unbeaten, pick 2 draws up, we'd be happy. We'd pick 3 points up, so we're not happy with that."
Okay, Harry. Well, as always, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Andrew.
And we'll be taking on Retford away next Tuesday, so hopefully we can catch up after that one, Harry, and look ahead to a trip to a place we never ever win, which is Matlock Town.
So I believe. Well, it's time for a change.
I quite agree with you. Harry, thank you very much.
Okay, Andrew, thanks.